What's good, people? It's your boy Bluez.
It's your boy Ville.
And this is BluezVille. And welcome to it. If you're listening, make sure you guys go to BluezVille.com and subscribe to our subscription list.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Pandora. We got Instagram, all the good stuff. Just make sure you go subscribe and click on that link below. Got
right
it?
there, yeah. And we got some new stuff coming to you, but we'll talk about that later. So let's start the show.
Boom. I used to kill it, bro.
He moving like an ostrich, hands are straight.
Jumping high in the mud.
Number legs moving.
And if it wasn't that, I was trying to do what them Zulu dudes on Sesame Street was doing.
He's like practicing in the mirror and shit.
Yo.
Hey, man, my show comes on in 30 minutes. I gotta practice before it comes on.
She's stretching out.
Shit, I used to get in trouble for that shit. Don't let me, because you find a little piece of hardwood floor in the house. Right by the front door. Get your ass somewhere and sit down.
Whole house carpet, but the kitchen in that little front patch.
Ain't got no carpet. Like, yeah, we're going to leave this part right here open and let the rest be carpet and ruin this wood.
It's like two little scuff marks. Yeah. Like,
boy, if you don't take off your Sunday church shoes.
That's what we should talk about. We should go down that. We should talk about that. See, a lot of these kids have no idea what play clothes are or play shoes.
For real.
Blues, nigga.
Run it.
Like, a lot of kids don't know what play shoes are or none of that shit. Like my son knows because I try to tell him. I say, man, we don't buy shoes now. Your foot kind of slowing down a little bit.
Yeah.
We ain't buying shoes because you messing them up. We buying that to the collection, sir.
Yeah, right?
Like, no. Like, you need to have multiple shoes. Like, they don't understand the play shoe. I'm still like that as an adult. Like, I ain't trying to mess up my shoes. So I'm going to go get some old ones and go do something.
Bro,
like, yeah.
Bro,
the funny
look
thing
at
is
my
that,
shoes.
Come on, man.
Like, look at this. Like, these are old. Look, the air bubble busted on this joker
10 years ago.
I still got on my work shoes. These my day job Jordans.
But you do got an everyday pair of ones that you like your good ones.
Exactly.
Like,
but here's the thing. Like, if I'm not actively going somewhere to work, like on stage at a show or somewhere, right, I'm not wearing shoes. I got on flip-flops 24/7.
Dude, at home, I'm not wearing shoes at all. Nah, man. I'm white recyclable. I like being barefoot.
I'm a slide guy. I gotta have my slides, man. Like, I gotta have them. Are you even in the house though? I still gotta have on socks though.
I usually wear socks.
I usually
wear socks until I go to my room. And then, like, I go to my room, I'm getting ready for bed and whatnot,
Right. You gotta have socks on the house?
Yeah, bro. I don't like my feet being naked.
Yeah, me either.
Like,
I can be butt naked.
I smash with my socks on.
Me too.
Bro,
I prefer calf socks.
There you go.
I prefer calf socks when I'm doing in that.
Hey, pull them
up. Let me go get my fucking socks.
Pull them up. Hold on, I got on the wrong socks.
Some people grab condoms. I like to grab different socks.
Yeah, I feel like you got them socks that they long, but then they got the like little thigh girl with them.
Oh, with the suspenders on them? Oh, yeah. I pull those out. It's going down. It's going down.
We're going to be here a minute.
We're going to be here for a minute.
Oh, shit, man. Oh.
We gotta keep this our guest, man.
Yeah.
I got a guest talking. Oh, wait, I'm a guest.
Yeah. He's the guest of the show. Long time. We know this guy a long time.
It's a brother,
we had
man.
The intro in the end, so don't matter about it. But I wanted to bring this guy in today because unfortunately he has no internet access. Not that he's broke, but the internet kicked him off.
Pretty much.
But we got in the building today. We got my man Kris Hunter. Kris Hunter, what's up? Say what's up to the BluezVille
We got applauses
people.
in the background.
Yeah, add them applause in there. We chilling.
What's up?
There we go. I forgot we still inside those.
Yeah. What's up?
What's good, man? What's good? Oh, here's the thing, man. He said white recyclables. No, that was a funny story. So Kris, we know Kris around town. He's been all around. he got kicked off. I'll let you tell. Because
you
got kicked off the internet because you are a Boogaloo member.
Yeah. So June 29th, woke up, checked my Facebook, whatever. About an hour later, look at my Facebook, it's gone. Look at my Instagram, it's gone. And I'm like, what happened? And so Facebook puts out this article, and they said how many people they kicked off. There was like 200 personal accounts, 95 Instagram accounts, and like 700 pages. And it was all people that were linked to the Boogaloo movement. Their official reasoning was that we were core adherents to a dangerous organization.
For people who don't know what the Boogaloo movement is, explain that to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you gotta explain that.
So the Boogaloo movement is mostly a libertarian movement. Yes, there are people on the fringes that are assholes that we try and keep out and whatnot, but it's a libertarian movement. We believe in maximum freedom for absolutely everybody. Terry over there messing shit up, got his phone vibrating.
I should just.
So it essentially everything revolves around what we call the NAP, the non-aggression principle, which means I should be able to do whatever the hell I want to do as long as I'm not infringing on somebody else.
Yeah.
I agree.
If I want to smoke, I can smoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I want to drink, I can drink. If I want to own a fully automatic submachine gun, I can own a fully automatic submachine gun.
Right.
As long as I'm not using that to harm somebody.
Yeah.
Agreeable.
And whatnot. And so, that's kind of like the thing that brought us all together is we're like, hey, we feel like a lot of this stuff that's going on shouldn't be going on. We have this thing called the Constitution that nobody seems to either understand or, read or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty simple. It damn near says like, yo, as far as an individual citizen goes, the government you shouldn't even notice it's there.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I notice the government's there a lot.
All the fucking time.
Right. All the time.
These niggas be in my ass.
Right? So, it's like, hey man, like we've been going this one direction for a very long time where government gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you notice it more and more and more. It's time to stop, hold that line, and then start pushing it back the other way.
Mm-mm.
Right.
And yeah, we go out, we protest, we got guns and whatnot. But that's for self-defense. That's a protection thing. It's got nothing to do with anything violent.
Yeah, what's funny, man? Like, and that was the thing. Like when the towards the end of Corona? Are we coming towards the end?
What you mean towards the end? We've started new stuff. What are you talking about?
I feel like
now we're in round two.
Season 2.
When we first got out of that first quarantine.
First season?
Out of the first season. And like all the rallies started popping up, like going out to them. I always see you out there with the guys and with the guns and everything. And the funny thing about that was, to me, like, if you was out there, like, all the black people was fucking with them. Like, that's Kris, that's these guys, they out there fucking with the people. Yeah, we here to support y'all, protect y'all from, because there was a bunch of fucking truck driving ass motherfuckers trying to come through with the smoke and all that shit. But you got the most smoke from other white people.
Yep.
With the white on white crime that I experienced.
It's real. It's real.
It was mind blowing to me.
It's real. It's real.
It is.
Yo. But like people perceive you guys as like just like a bunch of redneck hillbillies trying to start a civil war and shit.
Yeah. It's I mean, we get that everywhere. I've been in protests all over Central Texas, like Austin, Dallas, Salado, Belton, Temple, everywhere. And I never catch any shit from anybody that's not white. Like, I mean, straight up. Like, we actually had these redneck guys pull up to us in Salado. We were getting ready for the protest. This is about 20-30 minutes before it started. And they're like, well, the Fox News says that you boys are trying to overthrow the government. We're like, nah, man, we're here. We're like Like we're here as the official security detail invited by the protest organizer.
I just seen a whole visual of that.
Bro,
I got a whole
probably
visual.
got it right.
Yes, I got the visual right because I know what Salado looks like. I know everything going. I know he probably was tapping his foot like,
Yep.
You one of them Boogaloo Boys, huh? Trying to overthrow the government. Is what he said. It was funny. That was hilarious.
Yep.
So it's funny because, like you said, like you look on your Instagram or on your social media before you were booted, I assume.
Yeah.
All your pictures were with brothers.
I know, dude. That's the thing. Is like, okay, so
I was like, damn.
I grew up in Waco. I went to Waco High.
Yep.
I grew up in the local punk rock scene. Like, honestly, I don't have that much in common with white people.
No. I tell people, I say, bro, that's a brother, bro.
Yeah,
He's a cool
I think
dude.
and the funny thing is, like, I do it all the time with Classic Glass, just fucking with you. But I think I said it on this podcast a couple of times. Like, Kris Hunter is one of those white guys who's like, he may look the way he does, but no. I fucks with him super heavy.
But then you look at Chris, he like that white guy that's with the black guys, like, don't fuck with him.
Exactly.
Like, you ain't got, the black dudes ain't even got to say don't fuck with him. You can look like, hey.
Nah, I'm not fucking with that guy.
Nah. Good.
I'm not fucking with that guy, man.
Nah.
Yo, but how is that though? Like, you got that, or not you specifically, but like being part of that group gets you that reputation of that.
Well, it's because, like, I guess when I did that interview with the New York Times, she kept trying to compare us to the militia movement in the 90s, which was known for, like, white supremacy and bullshit like that. You know, and the only similarities is we have guns and they have guns. Like, I mean, that's about it.
Right.
You know, and so I think that's kind of where that comes from, is people think like, oh man, white guys with guns mean this thing from the 90s that it doesn't mean anymore. So this white guy with a gun 20 years later must be a Nazi.
And it's funny, it seems like everything get tied back to the worst shit all the time.
Yeah, well,
when you're trying to do something positive that has nothing to do with that shit.
Dude, and the thing is like, you know, everybody can be like, yeah, I don't believe the media. But when the media starts running crazy ass stories about you,
that's that ultra mind control.
Man, because like I was telling Terry a couple of weeks ago about my Alex Jones experience.
Yo,
yeah, he was telling me about.
We gotta take a break real quick.
We're gonna talk about that in the next segment.
We gotta take a break real quick. I did want to talk about that story. We're gonna take a break real quick and get back to Kris on
Before we take that break, we're gonna talk about your Alex Jones story, and then we want to ask you, how did you guys come up with the uniform? All right, got it.
Hi, I'm Becca.
And I'm Josie.
And we're your judges. And this is By the Cover. No, wait. Do you want us to... Oh,
Okay, we'll try it again.
Hi, I'm Becca.
And I'm Josie.
And we're your judges on By the Cover, a new podcast.
Yeah, we're a talk show. God.
Josie.
Yeah, we're a comedy talk show centered around Amazon book review culture. You can find us on Spotify, Stitcher,
wherever podcasts are.
All the
We're
places.
There. You can't hide from us. Anyway, listen to our show. We're going to be funny. We're going to be talking about books, and it's going to be great.
Yay! Promo over.
The words I'm singing now mean nothing more than me. I do an animal.
All right. We're back at it here with Kris Hunter. Now, like you said, before we left off, you were talking about getting chased out by Alex Jones. Because that was the thing, man. We were talking Monday, and you were telling me the stories about, like, you going out to all these protests and the wild shit that happened, man. Yo, tell us about that shit. Tell us about that Alex Jones shit.
So we were in Austin on August 1st, and we actually made national news that night on ABC Nightline. And so we show up, we load up into trucks. I'll tell that story at a different time because that's like the first part of the story. But apparently Alex Jones starts spreading this crazy rumor, and while we're driving around in these trucks, he's following us with drones. And we had left the start point for the protest to go do our job, which was protect protesters that were marching from people interfering with that march.
Right.
And Alex Jones starts telling this crazy story about how we were going to invade apartment buildings and get on the rooftops, and we were going to be sniping cops.
Wow.
And like when you're living this in real time and you're like, holy shit, man. If like, dude, now you just painted a target on my back. Because it's not true, but those crazy ass people listening to Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
And he was like, these are communist Antifa sniper,
You got it
sniper
down,
death
dude.
squads. And we're like, what? I even sent an email like the next day, and I was like, yo, if you want to talk to me, you can talk to me. But dude, like you seriously put us all in danger, and all of that was not true at all. And whatnot. And so like, I guess he was gonna try and get us riled up. So right after we left the first location, he showed up in his big armored car and was like antagonizing protesters and shit like that while we were off doing the thing, the convoy of chaos. And then we get back and we heard about what was going on there and whatnot. But like I said, he was like on there talking about, I got these documents from Austin Police Department. They're saying these guys
sound just like that. You hitting it, bro.
Bro, I've been practicing.
You hitting it, bro. I ain't gonna lie. You are hitting it.
You know, he's like, I can't show you these documents. Like you got blank ass pieces of paper, dude. Like, dude, and then that same night, Daily Mail, they ran a story about us as well. And it was funny because the way the article was portrayed, they had a picture of our people and it said 3%ers, which is like a right-wing militia, you know. And then they had another picture of our people and it said BLM. And then they had another picture of our people and it said right-wing extremists. And then another picture of our people that said left-wing activists. Wow. And I was like, every single one of these pictures is of our people.
Yeah.
Like they're all different pictures, but all those are our guys.
Dude, y'all had one picture. I ain't gonna lie, it was a fire ass picture. It was like y'all in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna,
Yeah.
Was that from Alex Jones's drone?
No, that was actually
like
from
a
a
good
vehicle.
picture.
That was actually from the vehicle behind us. The ones that Alex Jones posted, like you could tell they were from kind of high up or whatever. And I think he posted them like later on that night or something like that.
That dude crazy, man.
Dude, he is wild. And like I said, like I will forever fucking like I got it out for that dude. He put us in a lot of danger.
Which is funny because I think me and Mike earlier were talking about like hypocrisy and like views and politics and all that shit. You would think he would be more understanding, being as he's in the same boat of like people. Well, he is a certain kind of way, but
right.
But you being kicked off the internet and like not having a voice and like. Dude, you just creating a narrative,
dude, and that's the thing. Like
that's what he does.
You and I were talking about how this censorship stuff is a problem, and it started with him getting kicked off. And I'm like, yo, I don't like Alex Jones, but we should have stood up and been like, no, man, you can't do that.
But then once you start standing up for guys like that, then you see the ability of the narratives that he creates.
Exactly. And you get in this cycle like, because the thing is, I'm not standing up for what he's saying.
His right
I'm
to
standing
say
up for his right to say it.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. How do you, with him as that example, how do you find that line?
See, and
Ooh,
that is really difficult because a lot of times at these protests, like us as the Boogaloo movement, like we're not left or right. We're libertarians. Like we believe in maximum freedom and whatnot. There are times when we're marching with BLM. There are times we're marching with like pro 2A protests and whatnot. I've been to Trump protests. I've been to abolish ICE protests. You know, all kinds of stuff. And pretty much the way we do it is we say, hey, look, your right to free speech is absolute. I do not care what it is you're talking about,
Right,
or whatever. I will stand here and protect it because somebody has to. Like,
Right.
I may not, even if I disagree with what you stand for,
Yeah.
I do not want you to be silent.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
And I think you asked like the balance, right? And where do you draw that line, right? So it's like, I believe in that too, because like I want to get in that too a little bit, because we talked about like the internet censorship. It's a quote, and I don't remember the quote verbatim, but it's like, I didn't stand up for the such and such until they, and then it's like, I didn't stand up for all these people until they came to me, and there was nobody to stand up for me, right?
Exactly.
That's exactly what happens. But it goes like this, like we talked about earlier. It's like, yo, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, as long as it doesn't infringe upon somebody else's, right?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you say whatever you want as long as it's not an incite to action to be like, all right, yeah, Q juice. All right, hey,
Right, yeah.
I'm not defending that, right?
Hold
Say that shit,
up.
whoa, because that's insightful to
Exactly.
infringe on somebody else's rights.
And that's like a lot of times I tell people, I'm like, look, man, like we were at this protest in Belton, and the guy who organizes these things, his name's Patrick Aaron, and he does changes here, and he tells us, he's like, look, I want to make sure that, as long as things stay calm, I want to make sure that opposing views still have their voice and whatnot. And we were in Belton, and this dude just comes walking up with a rebel flag and whatnot. And we're thinking like, man, shit is about to go wild. This guy's going to cause all kinds of trouble and whatnot. Dude, Patrick's brother goes over to the guy, gives him a hug, and takes a picture with him. And then they have a conversation and whatnot and everything. And I don't know what that conversation was about, but it was that attitude that totally kept things chill. Instead of running up to the guy, because you see that a lot, man. Like, people just pounce and they will just dig into somebody for doing that, like whether they're waving a rebel flag or the thin blue line flag or whatever. And all you're doing is radicalizing them.
Oh, yeah.
And whatnot.
They're going to react.
Yeah,
But you go and you have a conversation with them, and and you talk about, because maybe like they're carrying that for a reason, and it may not be an inflammatory reason. They may be carrying it because they actually believe in some fucking heritage shit or whatever, but they don't know. And like, especially when it comes to things like racism, I tell people there's really two kinds of racism: the ignorant and the hateful. If you're ignorant, you can be educated, right? And you can talk to somebody, and you can help them to understand, like, hey man, like, I get it, like you said that because you were raised that way or something like that. But what you're actually saying is this. And then most of the time, if they're just ignorant of the fact, they'll get it and they'll be like, you know what, man, you're right, I'm gonna change that shit. Now if they're hateful, like,
it's in the heart.
yeah, exactly. Like, you can't
get
do
it
nothing
out.
about
You
that.
can't get it out. I agree, man. It is two types, because like you said, you can reprogram somebody to not think a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just think about it. Both of you guys are in the military.
Yeah.
Eventually, everybody started thinking on the same accord.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's
they
funny
didn't
you
come
say that,
in.
because like when I first went to basic, I had, well, not even just basic, throughout my military career, I would always meet guys from them podunk, what do you call them? After dark towns.
Yeah,
you don't want to be there after, niggas don't want to be there after dark.
Yeah.
Places
Exactly.
like Vidor, Texas and shit. I met tons of those guys be like, you know what? You're the first black guy I met, but I like you.
And you know what? But that's the crazy thing. And you meet a lot of people like that, and you'll be like, damn, they actually cool.
Nah, for real.
Yeah.
And that's, it's amplified in the military, because you in close quarters, and these are the people you gotta depend on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you kind of gotta get over that. But I mean,
Anytime, I think that's another thing.
yeah,
Too. Marijuana and survival will bring race together quick, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, seriously, bro.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like, when you go through something with somebody, you can forget about all the shit that you knew about, the flaws, all that shit. When you going through a survival mode and y'all trying to get through something, shit, you can put your shit aside if it's about surviving and for the good of something.
yeah.
Like, but when you got hate in your heart, not gonna
That's the
happen.
thing, man. Is like just looking at like so. people have a problem with looking at people as people.
Yeah.
You know, like even people of the same race or even the people of the same class or whatever. You know, because like, bro, we all have individual problems, and like, you can't understand my personal problems. I can't understand yours. They're from your perspective and whatnot. But the thing is especially if you live within the same community, we have so much more in common than not. Then there's nothing worth disagreeing over.
Right.
You know, like small disagreements, we just sit down and talk about it or whatever. But when you start paying attention to people sitting up in Washington and people sitting up in New York and all that, and they're like dictating and telling you like how you're supposed to think and shit like that, and telling you who the bad guy is and everything, you start getting paranoid and you start thinking, man, I don't like these white people that are, you know.
and that's really what it is. They're out here creating the narrative of our lives.
Well, and like,
and we're going with it.
The libertarian philosophy is the individual rights trump everything else.
Right.
You know, well, when you're sitting up in Washington or you're a media person, you can only look at the collective. You cannot see the individual person and whatnot. And so when you look at the collective, all you do is gauge, like, what do I see this mass of people doing? And then all of a sudden, all those people are that one thing.
Right.
Gotcha. You know, and then you've already lost by the time you get there, because you don't realize that that's a mom, that's a dad, that's somebody that's working 3 jobs, that's, you know, this and that.
It goes back to that little scenario, the ignorance of thinking that all tigers look the same.
Yeah.
The same. Because they all stripes are similar, but they are all different.
Yeah.
No one tiger is the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it almost goes back to, that's how they look at us. Like, that's how the media look at us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, nah, this is tigers.
Well,
that tiger
I mean,
looks like a tiger.
even like like take BLM for instance or whatever. People don't understand how complex BLM is.
Very.
Like very, very complex. I've been with BLM in like, I don't know, half a dozen cities, and every city they're different because each individual movement has individual issues in their individual communities.
Exactly.
That they are worried about and whatnot.
That's funny. It's equivalent to like being in a fraternity.
Yeah.
Like, okay, say I'm Omega. What they do at that chapter may not be the same thing I do at my chapter.
Yeah.
We got our own chapter clause. Like anything, like KKK maybe. Like you got some KKK that was doing community shit. Then you got some KKK people like, fuck the community. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Right.
It's like, I think it's all about where you, like you said, your region, what you're going through at that time. It's like, what do you need to stand up for where you're at?
And that's the thing, man, is like a lot of people don't understand how complex, when you get on the ground at these protests, especially in a big city, man, is it complex. Because you may have 7-8 different factions. You may have BLM Corporation, which are 2 totally different things. And you may have quote unquote Antifa, but then you may have AFA, which is like the militant Antifa types. And I guess we got a break. I see Terry over there. He's like,
Bro, Michael's in the window. All right, well, real quick.
We're going to come back with that. We'll be right back, y'all.
We're going to come right back with that one.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Jasmine with the New Black Collective.
And what's up? It's Davey R from Change Waco.
Don't forget to subscribe to Stories of the Streets, where we'll be here every other week, bringing you expert stories and also stories from local Wacoans.
Stories of the Streets in association with the New Black Collective, Change Waco, and Rogue Media. Tell your friends, tell your family, shout out to the streets, tune in as much as y'all can.
Action.
Action.
And we're back. We left off. You were talking about. Oh yeah, you were talking about the protests you've been to.
Yeah, all the different groups.
Yeah, like how complex it is.
Yeah.
So, like I said, you've got BLM and then you got BLM Corporation. Two totally different things. And most of the time, they don't get along.
Yo, that's why I was, like
don't.
the corporate, like the BLM, I guess official website, all the. That's something complete. Because it's funny you say that, right? Because like how you said, like the lumping together. All those things are different. Like it's hard for like all these kind of. It's just factions of different.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own agenda. And it's like within that group, these people have an agenda because like the BLM site talks about like LBGT stuff, all kind of other stuff. And then you got black people say, hey man, we ain't signed up for that.
But here's the funny thing. Like you said, it's two different groups because they was talking about it on Good Morning America one day where people was wanting to give to this BLM group financially, but it was going to the corporation.
Yeah.
They were getting all the funds from the protest. The BLM wasn't getting anything. The corporation, that created a big friction right there.
Yeah.
There's always ways to divide this shit.
It is. And then like I say, you got like Antifa, which, like most of, like somebody that's like, I'm anti-fascist or whatever, like that's cool. I mean, we don't like fascism. But then you got AFA, which is Antifa Action or
Is that the guys
Anti-Fascist
that's like
Action.
snatching up motherfuckers in Seattle or some shit?
Antifa Action, they're the militant ones. They're the ones that go and incite the cops to shoot the crowd. They do it on purpose. And then you'll have like in Austin, there's this group called MRB that what they do is, well, first off, they're Maoists. They believe in genocide, like straight up.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like they will straight up say, like, if this person doesn't believe in Maoist communism,
Knock them off.
they should be fucking killed.
Knock them off.
And a lot of times, those are the more like insightful, like I mean, they get in there and they try and cause trouble and whatnot. They actually wrote a piece on me because apparently like I'm evil or something like that.
Because you're popping.
Yeah, right.
You got a lot of articles written about you.
Dude, I know, man.
Yo,
Like,
did you say
I've
that-
been on ABC. I've been in the New York Times. I've been in Daily Mail, InfoWars. I just saw another piece from Reason TV today, and there was something else that I saw the other night. And so a lot of times it's just like a picture of me. Oh yeah, I was in the Austin Chronicle.
Hey, y'all know this episode will be tapped now.
Yo, I was thinking about. I thought about this too. Even before I brought you in, I was like, yo, I want to talk to you because I think this is interesting. But then I was like, are they even gonna allow this episode to drop?
Yeah, right.
Yo, if I get
dropping
Epstein, if we get Epstein, Mike, just know, they might get Mike first. Mike was like.
No, Mike gonna get a call from Rogue. Hey, you're that one guy with the beard, Kris, I believe. We ain't gonna do that.
This episode might have to go into the vault and not come out.
Come out.
Dude, you should see like how long it stays up. And then,
oh, that's a good one.
Because we dropped some shit.
Yeah, if we blow up, they might Joe Rogan us where they're like, oh, these are the controversial episodes, and yours is on the top of the list.
Yeah, right.
Or they gonna be like, or they gonna start using us. Hey, get this guy in there. You work for us now.
Yo,
We need you to bring another guy. Get Farrakhan in there.
yo, didn't the New York Times compare you to the 2020 Timothy McVeigh?
Yeah.
Word.
It was like indirectly. So I interviewed with this lady for like an hour and 40 minutes. You know how much it said in an hour and 40 minutes? She puts like 3 quotes in this humongous like
They go through and
novel of an article. And like she didn't take any of my quotes out of context, which I was happy about. I wasn't happy about the article because I thought it was bullshit. But the very last quote, like right after that, because she's talking about how when I was 12 was when the Waco thing and the Davidians thing happened and whatnot. And I saw the tanks going down Highway 6 when my mom was pumping gas. And right after that, she compares me to Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was like, those tanks, They were my inspiration.
And I guess that's what I'm saying, because that was Timothy McVeigh's motivation was David Koresh. He was like, I did that because of what they did down in Waco.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen what they did to David, and I was like, I gotta do something.
You know, you like, not Timothy McVeigh. Please don't compare him to him, because they were supposed to execute another guy, and they was like, fuck that. Let's execute Timothy McVeigh first. Because it was supposed to be some drug kingpin guy that was supposed to have been executed first.
No,
remember?
Get this baby,
and they was like, oh, fuck
baby hospital
that.
bombing motherfucker out of here.
Get this son of a bitch out of here. Now we got to bring a basketball team, this motherfucker, to get some money back. Just recover from Tulsa, nigga.
Y'all making my ass cry over here.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we very educated on history, here, people.
That's right.
You got 3 guys that know history,
Oh shit!
know how to have fun with it.
That's right.
Yo, you talked you talked about the groups like being insightful towards the police, right?
Yeah.
You were telling me the other day about like the situation where like the police were being insightful to you guys.
Yeah, so so we're at Garrett Foster's memorial. Garrett Foster had been killed the week before, and they made a memorial for him at 4th and Congress in Austin. And people have been threatening to destroy or deface that memorial. And the thing is, no matter where you think Garrett Foster's killing was justified or not, it don't matter what side of the fence you fall on. You know that if somebody defaced that memorial, shit was gonna get wild.
Oh yeah.
So I was with the group that was protecting the memorial. At one point, the police rush us, and the thing is when you're on the ground, like standing, right there, you can only see what's in front of your face.
Right.
You don't know the whole story. That's why you have to be like very reserved. You have to be very disciplined in everything, every move you make, and whatnot. That beer.
Yeah.
Everybody been over.
Bro, you know what the worst, not to cut you off, you know what the worst shit is, having a mask on all day? It's just burping in that motherfucker. Like, god damn.
Hey, you ever, I bet you been brushing your teeth more now, haven't you, boy? By 2 o'clock, you like, fuck.
Bruh, I gotta switch masks.
You gotta keep the little Listerine thing.
And you smoke cigarettes. So you probably pick up a mask like, damn, I smoked that many cigarettes. Cause I didn't pick up like, woo. Fuck. Soak that shit.
Yeah, I gotta watch this motherfucker.
My bad. But back to your story.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So like we're standing. We have people positioned all around the memorial, and then we have people like just a few yards up the street and everything. All of a sudden, the police rush us with their bicycles like shields, and I mean they come running, like 25 cops just running down the sidewalk right at us, and they surround us. And I'm like, oh shit, like what the hell? And this one female cop is like, hey, if you don't get outside of our perimeter, then you're gonna be arrested. I'm like, yo, where the hell is your perimeter? Like you just surrounded us. like what the fuck? So like I get to the wall and I grab the dude next to me, and then we like skirt the wall to get outside their perimeter, which they're like moving as, I'm like, come on, man, y'all are just fucking around. Well, so we get outside their line once they finally get that shit set and whatnot. What I didn't know at the time is right around the corner, they were arresting somebody. That perimeter they were putting that perimeter in place to protect the officer that was doing the arrest, or officers, the guy that they had just tackled, because apparently they got to be protected from the dude that they just knocked his ass on the ground. But, so all this chaos, like, of course, all of us that have some kind of training, we're outside that line first. But there's just regular ass protesters that get caught in that mix, and they ain't got no guns. So like the cops, they're gonna tell me like, hey, you get outside our perimeter. But the people without the guns,
stay in it.
Man, they were tripping them. They were pushing them over with their bicycles. They were like throwing them and shit and everything. So like we're watching this and we're like trying, like, hey, give me your hand, like trying to get them outside the police line and whatnot. And well, they knocked over this dude that was not with us officially, but he was like with us, like he had a gun or whatever. They knock him over and like we grab him, pick him up. And when we picked him up, all I see is barrels. And the cops, 4 cops drew their weapons on us. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go. So I tell the guys, like, yo, get online. Like, you know, because I immediately, like, my brain just goes,
come, let's go.
We got to have a defensive position or something, you know? Like, and I'm like, get online, you know? And so we line up from the building all the way to the street. I mean, it's like a straight up, like fallen formation shit, you know? And then I see one of the state troopers that they're the ones in riot gear, and the city cops, they're the ones that are more in just their police uniforms. Mm-hmm. So it's the city cops that have their guns on us. I see one of the state troopers, he grabs one of those city cops by the shoulder, and he just looks at him like, you just fucked up. Because you're in a volatile situation where, like, looking at it from an officer's perspective is going to be the same as looking at it from my perspective. There are guns pointed in every single direction. You do not want one single round to go off.
This is going
because you got no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Like, that's a bad situation. So, like, they holster their weapons, and then this one cop runs over to the dude that they knocked down and is like, you pointed your weapon at one of our officers, you're going to be arrested. And we're like, whoa. No, hold up. Like, this dude, like, y'all knocked his ass down, and his barrel came up when he fell. And then we helped him up. You know? So, like, he didn't point his weapon at anybody and everything. Later on, I ended up having to send the Twitter video to someone to get it to his lawyer or whatever. But they ended up arresting him. But
they charged him with that?
Yeah, after he left our group. Like, as long as he was standing with us, they didn't mess with him. But as soon as he separated from us, I mean, they were on him.
Oh,
like,
they was stalking him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
And it was freaking wild. Like,
ain't that crazy how they work like wild animals? Like, they try to get you away from the group, isolate you. Like, that's crazy.
So here's what's
like
crazy.
wolves.
Here's what's real crazy about the situation. So at that night there was about 65 of our people, and it was, you know, at a 4th and Congress. So you got 4 corners, and on one of the corners was the dumbass geriatric 3%ers, and they had to leave early because it was past their bedtime. But we were holding all the other corners. And so, like, the cops come, there's about 800 cops that come marching out and whatnot. At first, they ran through the protesters with their horses when the protesters blocked the street and whatnot. And then they, like, held their position and everything. And you could tell there was this moment. It was just crazy. You look up on the rooftops and they've got Overwatch, like snipers and shit up on the roofs. And I don't know what kind of shit goes through their mind where they think, like, I mean, just thinking tactically, they're completely surrounded. Like, obviously, bro, we don't ever want any violence. I don't want anybody to ever get hurt. But looking at it from a tactical perspective, the police were completely surrounded. Like, they maybe had the numbers, but at one point, you could tell they figured it out. Because this one lieutenant is, like, running through the crowd of cops, and he's like got this panic look on his face. And as soon as he got to someone else that, you know, you could tell was, like, in charge, like, they started rearranging and moving back and everything. Because that, I mean, they were surrounded on all sides. And, you know, like I said, like, obviously we're peaceful as shit. Like, we got guns. I ain't gonna do nothing with, like, we believe in that non-aggression principle so much that we would have let those cops shoot us before we
You
would
fire
defend
back.
defend ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. It's like self-defense, like, yo, it's funny because, like, you, like, being a white, because I'm all about the Second Amendment.
Right.
I'm, veteran as well. Like, I'm all about this shit. The funny thing is, like, yo, the perception that who gets with what, right? Mm-hmm. You as a white guy walking out with a gun, hey, man, he might be militia. He might be just a redneck guy with a gun, but police aren't going to shoot at you like that. If I walk out with my shit, just me,
You have an issue.
Dude, and that's the thing, man. We're trying to change that because, I mean, I think I told you at when we were at that protest in May or whatever, that if I had any type of privilege, it was to stand as a shield for my community or whatnot. Because the thing is I know that, like, I mean, you look at the history of black groups that arm themselves and whatnot. I mean, look at Black Wall Street.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
But it's like everyone that we create gets disarmed.
Yeah, exactly. So we got to do something about that.
Exactly. Like good Black Wall Street from your Panthers.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. The Panthers.
Yeah,
modern day.
As soon as the Panthers was walking down, we're like, yo, we out. It's like, oh, no. We got
to do something.
No, gun. We don't need the guns, people.
And that's when the gun law starts changing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
you look at gun control, like the very first gun control laws, they were absolutely aimed at black people.
Yeah, everything.
Absolutely aimed at black people. Just like drug laws.
All drug.
Absolutely aimed at
No
just
law.
like minimum wage. They was aimed at black people.
No law was designed for you. For a white person. Like, not for you exactly. I'm just saying
I know what you're
for
saying.
a white person.
Yeah.
Like,
I know what you're saying.
every law was for a black person or somebody that they didn't want to get to a certain spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and the thing about it, we cheer on people that put us in bad situations. Like, we'd be like, oh, man, Bill Clinton was the best president we ever had. Well, motherfucker, he signed the bill. They got your ass playing baseball. And let that marinate.
Yo, wait. Speaking of which,
3 strikes and shit.
Speaking of presidents, we're going to break on that and come back right after this commercial break because I did want to get on some stuff about that.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Yo, if you want the fresh live hip hop and the fresh live hip hop feed, you got to come to Rogue Media and listen to the Private Hip Hop Podcast.
And we're back. Welcome back to it. All right, and we were talking. Oh, let me reset this. But we were talking before about presidents. But on that commercial break, you said something really interesting. Can you repeat that? What you just said?
Dude, the thing that gets censored the most is black and white unite. They're scared of that shit.
Yeah, very. Like, that's usually when a lot of black people get assassinated. Mm-hmm. Like, every black person that's been assassinated realized that uniting is a better cause than being divided.
Yeah.
Think about it. From it started with we can go Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Mm-hmm. We can go with even when Tupac mind frame changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When Biggie started rapping about wealth, getting wealth, community wealth. Like, if anything we talk about, only if you ever notice in our community, like, the only way that we get to stay out and stay doing things, it has to be negative.
It's true, and that's what's so fucked up.
Yes.
You know, like like a lot of people don't know this about me. I grew up in the local punk rock scene, but one of my, like, biggest musical influences is Ice-T. Mm-hmm. And I think Ice-T is he's kind of a role model for me as far as like how that uniting spirit goes, because that dude, like, first off, he ain't been shot yet, you know, which is great, but, like, even a few years ago when he wrote that song No Lives Matter for his band Body Count or whatever, the way he explains how it goes is, you know, first he talks about, like, the All Lives Matter people as opposed to the Black Lives Matter people, and he's saying, we're not saying that all lives don't matter, we're saying, yo, this is the thing that we're dealing with right now and whatnot. But then he says, when you want to break it down to the dirty low level, no lives matter because it's them against us. It's about the people in charge and how they want to run our lives.
Yeah.
And if we, as just regular ass citizens, lock arms, they can't stop us.
Yeah.
And that scares the shit out
It
of
does.
them.
And they don't want that because then they can't put their laws in place, these certain things in place. In order to put these certain laws and certain things in place, you need ignorance.
Yeah.
I mean, you need chaos to get order.
Yeah. But here's the thing too, right? We do it to ourselves as well.
Right.
Because like, for instance, like you just said, like Ice Cube, you see the shit about like everybody trying to cancel Ice Cube because of him talking to Trump for the platinum plan or whatever. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you niggas?
You gotta calc.
You gotta cross the like everything.
You do.
Any situation that like you either want to be divided or you want a resolution. In order for me to get a resolution, I gotta tear this goddamn plexiglass fucking down and reach over the aisle and be like, yo, what's good, man? I forgot I wasn't supposed to mention the plexiglass. Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean,
but crossing that aisle to be like, all right, yo, what's good, man? Like, how do we fix this, right? Like, what is the issue that, like, this is what we are talking about. This is what we need. This is what we are experiencing. This is what's wrong on our side of it.
Dude, yeah, and that is always going to start on the local level, you know, because I mean, let's be honest. All those people up in Washington, like, they don't give a shit about race. They don't shit again.
It's all green. It's all green.
Exactly.
It's all green.
Exactly.
It's all green.
And
green
so
and reputation.
It's got to happen here.
Yeah.
And when it starts to happen here, though, like I said, you know, earlier, look at Black Wall Street. Like, bro, when it starts to happen locally and whatnot, and people start making money,
Right.
that's when they're like, oh, we gotta kill these motherfuckers.
Yeah, it was.
But that was the key word you just said right there. When people start making money, it's like
if you make too much money, then you realize you don't need them.
Bam, and that's the catch, and that's the reality. I keep you from making money. I give you all this assistance. I give you all these fucking coupons in life that you take, and you keep taking, and you keep taking, and now I got your ass hooked. It ain't nothing but human fucking fishing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's all it is. It's like, I'm going to throw this bait. Ooh, I'm going to get me a tuna this fucking time. Because I know I can keep this tuna. I can cut this fucking tuna up and stretch it out all across. And that's exactly what they doing to our asses right now. And
like,
hey, look, the crazy part is, like, you see people out here like, man, when we going to get another stimulus check? What the fuck is wrong with your mind frame?
What you mean stimulus check? Like, when's everybody going to get to go back to work? When's everybody going to get to earn
when
their
I'm going to get my
wage?
money back? My money.
Yeah, exactly.
Bruh,
Like,
they stopped
like
the
when
600.
Yeah, why are you going to, like, keep taking, like look at the bars right now. The bars are closed or whatever. You know, the entire time they've been closed, they've still had to pay for their licenses.
Yes.
That's fucked up. Yeah. Like, nah, man, you can't be open, but you still got to give us money.
It's funny. It's kind of like, I think was it Cuba? Was it until 2017? Like, the government owned every business.
Yeah.
So if you own, you ran it, but the government owned like 80 to 90% of your business. So you only got like 10 to 20% of the profit.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking pure extortion. Like, come on. Like, yeah, you running your shit.
Dude,
it's almost like owning the property in America.
If taking 100% of someone's labor is slavery, what percentage is not slavery?
If you take anything from anybody,
Exactly.
bro, it's slavery.
Exactly.
It's just what it is. But we try to call it a different name now.
Taxes.
Not that, not just taxes, but when it's like when it's not 100%, when it's like 50, 30, 40, 60, we just call it pimped. You just got pimped. You got played.
I mean, you ain't lying.
That's really what it is.
You ain't lying.
Because you're going to keep coming back and doing it again. and again and again and again until the whole realize, like, you know what, bitch, it's my pussy.
They let you. They
They
let you.
realize it now.
Fans only page. Exact pimps like, oh, these hoes.
These pimps is out here struggling. God damn this internet.
We need to be like the hoes and start
Hey,
your
can
only
we
fans
defund
page.
the
and like,
internet? These bitches is getting out of control.
They let you keep enough
How you say, bitch?
to
This
keep
is
voting for 'em.
yes, exactly. That's what. It
Which
is.
brings me to Terry's next segment on
Oh,
presidents.
yo.
Yes.
we already got to do
I like that.
Hey, you don't do the segues around this.
No, fuck that. You gonna come back. This is gonna be a nice piano setup.
Oh shit! But okay, and this is how we gonna close it out with this one, because talking about presidents and we talk about like internet censorship earlier, right? Mm-hmm. Yo, man, we out here like, oh, I voted, and I only, to be honest with you, I really only vote to shut motherfuckers up. I don't give a fuck about voting because I don't really think it does anything for me or for like us on the individual level. But I did vote, and I won't tell you who I voted for. I voted for a woman.
I know who you voted for because
yep.
we had this
Yeah, we
conversation.
did have this conversation.
I voted for the same woman.
Yep. And with that, like,
I'm going Monday.
we've gotten into this sort of mindset of like, oh, you gotta vote for either these two people or your vote doesn't count.
Nah, man.
No, you making it that way because your dumbass fucking rhetoric.
Yeah.
And we're essentially fighting for who's the worst of or better of two
Yeah.
evils.
Who said it? Who said it a long time ago?
You know what's funny is we make fun of China, because like they get to vote, but they only have one choice. But then we're like, we have two choices, so we're so much better.
No,
they're both
you know what's funny?
Right?
We're on a governmental level, we're about to be China if we're not already China.
Yeah.
But on an educational and monetary level, China's way the fuck ahead of us.
What do you mean way fuck ahead? They like 10 years, 20 years
Because
ahead.
here's the thing, right? You talked about the voting; they only get one choice. Their internet censored.
Yep.
Governments own our business. Check this out, right? So, did you see the story about Hunter Biden
Yeah.
and how it shut down Twitter because Twitter censored the story?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been saying this from Jump Street, like the whole Alex Jones and Farrakhan getting banned from the internet. We are at a point where these big tech companies are controlling our freedom of speech.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was actually having this conversation with a friend today, and being pro freedom means that I am anti any infringement, whether it comes from government or a corporation. Mm-hmm. Like I don't care if you hold power over me and I did not choose you as a boss or as a whatever and everything. I got a problem with that.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where we get with it.
But you go back to that social media thing. That's why you think you have so much freedom on Twitter versus all the other ones? Because all that shit on Twitter goes to the Library of Congress. See, a lot of people don't know that.
I mean, it does, yeah.
Everything that's on Twitter goes to, so all that shit.
Oh, I'll be. All
You just said they gonna pull it back there. Like,
I can't wait till they cancel me for some shit or some old tweets.
They can pull your dick.
Wait, maybe I should unfollow all these porn pages.
They gonna be like, hey, they gonna be like, shit. Your XXN shit is popping. What is that, X Hamster, sir? Wow. Hey, speaking of that, bro, I did. You know what? Fuck it. I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah.
Oh shit! But Twitter is one of the like more places of freedom, but like that opens a can of worms that nobody is really like fucked up about. Like, yo, you should be fucked up about that.
But
Because if you think about, all right, I don't believe in government interference, but in the age that we live in, like freedom of speech, we talk about freedom of speech. You should be able to say anything that doesn't. There's limits to freedom of speech, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You can't incite a riot. You can't all those things, right? So, fine, I'm fine with that. How do we communicate as a society today? Nobody's really watching TV.
So
40% of America's news comes from Facebook.
Yep. And in times past, the way the market dealt with it was if you didn't like how that company was operating, You just stop giving them your money.
Yeah.
How do I stop giving Google my money?
But that's the
I can't.
You can't because they run fucking everything.
Exactly.
But here's the catch that you just said something that was very interesting that stood out. What the media has done is what it does is it makes it where everybody gets the same news. Back in different times, you had different newspaper. This newspaper reported one thing. You go to another town, they reported something totally different. So this town, it's kind of how slavery worked, right? We didn't get the newspaper they got up north, right?
Right.
Until like how many years later? The fucking newspaper man stopped running, right? We was getting different news. No, slavery's still good. No, slavery's over. Slavery's still good. They steady throwing it, right? So
Dude,
it's
for real.
like,
I mean, like we live in Texas, where like Juneteenth is celebrated.
right.
That was 2 years after the war ended.
Bro, the rest of the country just started celebrating Juneteenth.
Exactly. Like, I know. It's like, exactly. Like, we're going to help y'all out.
I honestly didn't know that the rest of the country didn't know about
until I
Juneteenth.
joined the army. I was like, y'all niggas don't know what Juneteenth is?
I was
like,
living. I was in
what?
D.C. Like a lot of people like don't know up north. Period. Like they like what the fuck y'all just dumb. I'm like, why we dumb? Because they didn't throw the newspaper, bitch.
Right.
like it wasn't no
They sent
fucking
one
radios.
dude. They sent one dude on a horse from D.C. to Galveston. That's what.
And that's what they did. They sent him on horse. Like,
bro.
hey, knock his ass off. Where you headed? Let me see your paper. Oh, niggas is free. They don't get this shit.
Bro, you know what? I fucking hate slave movies, but that would be a fire ass slave movie of the guy who had to take the news to Texas that niggas was free.
You know what? Time out. I can add that to my dude about the guy how he felt the day slavery was about to be over. Cause that was a tough day for the white guys, bro. Hey, thank you for that fuel. No, thank you for that fuel.
There you go.
You will get right to that.
Oh
That's
shit,
nice.
man.
I'm on it.
That's funny.
Cause that is funny. It's like, well, you got some paperwork there, huh, buddy?
Bro, like, here's how so my mom told me this analogy one day. I forget what we were discussing. I think I told it to you. But essentially, and I equated it to black people. But now that I think about it, I think it sort of qualifies or what word did I just use a while ago?
Yeah, that one right there.
All right. I think it explains more society than just black culture, right? So there was this slave owner, right? And he's trying to learn how to control the slaves better. He hires. This is not the John Lynch story or what?
Jim Crow?
No, Lynch.
Lynch.
There's not the Lynch one. This is a completely different story.
Okay, gotcha.
So slave owner's trying to control the slaves. He hires this guy, right? And the guy he hires like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. Just follow my lead. Don't say anything, right? So he tells the slaves like, hey, this is what we're going to do. You guys are free, right? You guys are free. You're not slaves anymore. You guys are free. Here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
You're only free here. If you step outside this plantation, I can't protect you. Right? So you can be free here. And I tell you what else we're going to do, right? Every week, we're going to gather and you can air your grievances out to us. And we will do what we can to fix them.
Oh, man, you just made the people think that they had a voice.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that to let you think, or not let you think. So we're going to allow you to air your grievances so we can get things fixed around here, right? So all the people are like, yeah, this is great, man. So they're airing their grievances out, picking cotton. Some slaves out there get sort of like, hey, we're not really free. Because they're still taking all the, that's what it's like. Oh, yeah, we're going to give you cut of the profit of the cottons, all that. It's like, well, after a while, they're like taking everybody's cut. Nobody's getting their money. All these things like, hey, we're not getting a cut of these profits. They're like, oh, no. See, what we're doing is this goes to this. You got to pay for this. So this is what we're taking out. All those things, right?
Uh-huh.
Few slaves, he's like, one slave gets caught sneaking some cotton for himself, right?
Yeah.
Pulls him out like, hey, you see this guy right here? He's stealing from you.
Yep.
He is so selfish that he is stealing your money. And all the slaves are like, ah. And he's like, and the slave they catch is like, no, we aren't free. They are taking it all. And some of the slaves are like, oh, wait, he might be right. Now the guy's like, no. He's against you, finally gets him back riled up, goes kills the slave that fucking knows what he's talking about, right? Keeps these guys in the fucking dark.
Yeah.
Right? That is society.
Yeah.
We have the illusion of freedom.
You're free as long as you follow their rules.
Yeah.
And you don't own shit.
No.
You can live, you can work here,
Yeah.
but you don't own shit.
Even
But
if
yeah, go without paying your property taxes.
I was just about to say, even
didn't
if
I
I
say you're
own my
renting
house,
for the government.
even
You're
if I
renting
own
that-
my house, if I don't pay y'all,
and that's what I was telling you all ago. It's like owning property in America.
Yeah.
You don't own it.
No.
You just feel like you own it. That's what I'm saying. It's pure extortion.
Dude, and that's the thing is when the country was first founded, you know, they were like big anti-property taxes, like big time anti-property taxes. They tried to because so like in the Constitution, obviously, like it's not said anywhere in there, so it falls under the 10th Amendment. But everybody back then was like, "Nah, man, property that's crazy. Like, why would you like you can't even do that." But over time, especially with the rise of the public school system,
yeah.
you know, and then there you go. Now you're renting from the government. You're renting your own damn land that you paid for, you worked for your whole life. Like you do a 30-year mortgage, and then, man, I'm you know, like, say I pay a 30-year mortgage and I'm 65 now, and I ain't got my kids ain't in school or whatever. So you know, none of that. But I don't pay my property taxes at 75 years old because they'll let you ride that shit out for 10 years.
They do it on purpose.
They will kick your ass out of your own house that you've been living in for 40 years.
Have an auction on your shit while you right in the living room.
Hey, you ain't got this shit out yet?
Yep. But hey, we gotta wrap this thing.
Yeah,
up,
we gotta
man.
wrap it up.
But
Man,
hey,
this has been a
Chris,
dope conversation.
Bro, I really
You might be a
enjoyed
regular
you coming,
guest.
bro.
I don't know if we
Yeah.
can get away with you being a regular guest.
Yeah,
If
we'll
you know
find
too
out.
much, we might get.
We'll find out.
Hey, you got any final thoughts you want to say, man? Anything you want to drop?
You can't follow him online.
No.
So my band After the Fact has an album coming out on Election Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so follow After the Fact. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Just don't tell Facebook that we're on Facebook.
Right.
And then like, you know, Spotify, all the streaming service. We already have a single out and a video and everything. So yeah, look it up After the Fact.
Now that you said that, I really want to see how long the video goes. But yeah, man, I enjoyed this conversation, man.
Yeah,
Dope.
man.
We can do this anytime.
Yeah. I love
It
it.
could have went longer. I know.
Yeah. I know, and we're limited on that, but
Yeah.
we definitely
all
gonna have
good.
to part 2 this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so if you guys are listening, make sure you guys stay tuned in. We might do a part 2 of this if we could get away with keeping this up. If we could keep it up for a month, we might. I think we a month.
I think we can keep it up.
All right.
I think it is. Think like ain't the same, Chris. The Chris we was talking about didn't like black guys. That's what the social media is.
Exactly.
Oh, but we proved otherwise.
Yeah.
That's what we do here on BluezVille. And with your boy Terry Bluez, with my homie.
Your boy Onterio Linville.
And this is Bluez.
Bill.
And we out.
Hunter.
Blues, nigga.
Run it.
This has been a Rogue Media. This has been a.